Welcome to Knicksfandom. This is an independent New York Knicks fan-based podcast, which was created by fans for fans. The show is hosted by LA Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the Knicks, the NBA, and various other sports-related topics. Join us. It's going to be a heck of a ride.
Pull up on your block, then break it down. We playing Tetris. This is episode 23 of our podcast known as Knicksfandom. Hello, listeners. We're back, and we're glad to be able to bring you back another great episode. As always, I'm your host, LA Blackwell. Hope our listeners out there are doing well. I hope everyone's enjoying the holiday weekend. I'm pleased to be joined by my co-host, Flo. How you doing, Flo?
LA, I'm very good, man. How you doing today?
Doing real well. As always, it's great to be joined by our fellow co-host, Danny D. How you been, Danny D?
I'm good, LA. How's everything going with you, man?
I'm good, man. We back. It's good to be back on the air, but one celebrity news I want to just give a little quick shout out regarding Charlie Murphy. He recently passed from leukemia, you know. Definitely sad to hear about that. Definitely one of the good all-time comedians out there. Our best go out to his family and his friends and things of that nature. Definitely going to miss him from the Dave Chappelle show. I'm sure y'all guys remember him, a lot of the classic skits. You know, anything you want to add about that, Danny D?
Hey, man, it's Charlie Murphy, man. Great guy, great comedy. He's truly going to be missed, and my condolences to his family, man. Wonderful comedian.
Definitely. How about you, Flo? Anything else you want to add?
My condolences goes out to the Murphy family. You know, one of the great comedians out there. Underrated comedian. You know, definitely he'll be truly missed. Very
true. Had to acknowledge that, folks. But going into our show, we're going to start our weekly Knicks Roundup right now. Basically, the Knicks had one game since our podcast, which they had a win against the 76ers, 114-113. And basically, the Knicks finished with that win, and that may have been Melo's last game in the Knicks uniform. But also in other news, Hernan Gomez finished the season with a Rookie of the Month honor. And now, because of that, the coin flip will break the tie between the Wolves and the Knicks regarding if the pick that they have will stay in the 6 or if it move up into the top 3. If they do, if the Knicks win the toss, they have a 43% chance of picking 6, a 33.1% chance of picking the 7th, and a 4.5% chance of picking 8th, and lastly, a 0.1% chance of picking 9th. But in the end, these odds would finally be settled on Tuesday, May 16th, 2017, the day of the NBA draft lottery. And one other thing I want to say to our listeners out there, make sure to read our most recent Knicksfandom article by our very own Flo. You can find it on our Facebook page in the notes section. You also can find it on our Twitter page. There's a link to it. The title of the article is By Felicia, Phil Jackson Must Go. It's a great read, and it covers a very relevant topic. And speaking of Phil Jackson, the big news this week regarding the Knicks was a season-end press conference by Phil Jackson, in which he stated, among other things, he basically did a whole subject on where the Knicks are at, what they need to improve on, but the main highlights of it was basically he stated he never took a jump shot, never made a substitution, but the buck stops with him. He also stated the disconnect and rebelliousness of the team regarding Jeff Hornacek also has to stop. But the main topic they touched upon, which had a lot of people talking throughout the sports world, was basically Carmelo Anthony would be a better off somewhere else to chase that elusive championship. And he also stated if he does trade Carmelo Anthony, he would like a significant player for any potential trade regarding Melo. And lastly, he also stated that if Melo, basically saying that it hasn't worked overall with Melo regarding the triangle, and regarding the resistance he felt from the top to the bottom of the team. In other words, we're starting over, we're rebuilding the team. And that's basically where we're at right now. And also one other thing I want to state regarding that, after these statements came out, a report by ESPN staff writer Young and Misk stated that the NBA PBA executive director Michelle Roberts labeled Jackson comments on likely splitting with Carmelo Anthony as inappropriate and spoke with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver about it. Roberts stated if players under contract cannot, under threat of league discipline, speak openly about their desire to be employed elsewhere, we expect management to adhere to the same standards. The door swings both ways when it comes to demonstrating loyalty and respect. We can look for Jackson being potentially fined for those remarks. And to put the proverbial cherry on the top, Kristaps Porzingis blew off the season exit interview. Anything you want to stay with that, Flo?
Yeah, LA, I don't know if you're aware, but according to agent Wojciechowski at Yahoo Sports, Kristaps Porzingis boarded a plane straight to Latvia. He's back home, and he will not come back to the U.S. until September at the start of training camp. I wanted to know, guys, what is your take about this? It seems like there's an open rebellion in regards to Knicks players against the triangle offense. And also Kristaps Porzingis' comments 3 weeks ago where he stated that there's a state of confusing and it starts up top in terms of us, in terms of the Knicks not playing the triangle early in the season, starting to pick and roll when they were 14-10, and then going back openly to the triangle, at the second half of the season. So also with the blow up with Carmelo and with Kurt Rambis, assistant coach of the Knicks, during the Brooklyn game. What do you guys think about all of this fiasco?
You want to go first, Danny D? I got a few thoughts on it, though.
It's the fiasco. It starts from the main guy. It starts with Phil. And it starts with Phil being that you are basically, you're the captain of the ship. And the captain of the ship, you have to lead. And basically, and when the ship is sinking, you don't blame other people while the ship is sinking. You're putting, basically, like Frank Isola said in the article that LA showed me, says that you're making Melo the fall guy. I want to know, how is Melo the fall guy? You signed Melo to extension to come him back for the 5 years, $124 million, right? You made horrible pickups with pieces around him. The $72 million man, the broken man, Joakim Noah, who's going to get surgery now for like rotator cuff surgery, a ton of other things. The debacle about that. You got Derrick Rose, and then now you're blaming Carmelo. Carmelo's not a doctor. He can't fix these guys. You have to give him the pieces to play around. Why blame Melo? That's on Phil. He has to take ownership on the thing. And the triangle's not working. It hasn't worked for years. You talking about if you want somebody to be a defensive player and things like that, a two-way player, they can't even defend a pick and roll. They still can't defend a pick and roll. It's the end of the season. They still can't defend a pick and roll. How's that Melo's fault? That's everybody's fault. That goes from Kurt Rambis. It goes to Phil. That's everybody as a team as a whole. I can see Phil now. Because if the team was winning, Phil be like, he's a genius. He's the greatest guy. But they're not winning. You got to take the blame, Phil. You're the man in charge. That's how I go. And with Porzingis leaving, what can you do? I'm saying that he's trying to be professional, things like that. He's frustrated. He's a young guy, a thing of that nature. And he's real frustrated right now. Heck, I wouldn't have went to the exit interview too. I showed up. I'm out of here. For what? We're losing. I don't like to lose. Derrick Rose doesn't show up to games. I'm not showing up to the interview. I'm out of here, man. See y'all in September, sucker. And don't say nothing about no damn triangle.
I hear you, Daddy D. I hear you. Thank you. As for Porzingis, in my eyes, you got to do better than that. You're professional. You know, that's your job. If you got a problem, you got beef with him, then state it, No sense running out the back door doing that. I know he's young. He's going to learn from it, but I think he got bad advice regarding that. He didn't need to go that route. Just see how you felt, That's all. I think they respected more doing it that way. But for the other part with Phil, one thing I think about before, when you talk about the late, great Charlie Murphy, was the main skit they had with Rick James. And big thing with Phil Jackson, just looking at an interview that he gave recently, that press conference, Phil's just a habitual line stepper, man. That's all he is. He's a habitual line stepper who got delusions of grandeur. That's his problem. He think he's still out there coaching, which he doesn't want to do. So if you don't want to do coaching, stop pushing this triangle so much. You up there hanging on Hornacek's shoulder, and you wouldn't want this if you was a coach yourself. We talked about this in podcast after podcast. And Phil, it's just where the class is at. Plain and simple, going after Melo like that. You didn't have to go that route. Now you may be fine because of it. And to me, you're just not showing leadership at all. And he's saying it's not going to affect getting on free agents during this free agent period. I think it's definitely going to affect it. Because if you treat your best player like this, why would I want to sign with this team right now? And then he also gave a little dig to Porzingis. I don't know if y'all saw that as well during that press conference, stating that he's getting a lot of cheap points from threes and stuff. I was like, what's the purpose of saying that? If you felt that way, go behind closed doors. There's no reason to put him out there in front of everybody and say it like that. Especially when the team hasn't won. And you talk about the buck stops here. You damn right the buck stops there with you. Excuse my French. The buck stopped with you as soon as you got here. And now you want to do over after 3 years? For what? You got to do when you first got here. Melo, he should go because he deserved better than this. And this is not the place for you, because if I was a regular person working with this team, I would not want to have a boss that I know do not want me with this organization anymore. You signed them back, like Danny D said. That was under you. You gave him the no-trade contract as well. So that's on you, too. So basically, you didn't put the right players around him. Take the onus on yourself. Stop pointing fingers at everybody else. And then he gave some crap to him about, oh, the team went down. He did a little quick holiday vacation on Christmas or something and missed 5 days, and that's when the team went down. So he blamed himself a little bit. You got to be kidding me. This team was not built for that. The bench sucked. The defense sucked. This team was underachieved, and that was under your watch. I'm done with that part. Go ahead, Flo.
I didn't even realize that the $60 million intern was actually alive and well. I thought he was missing in action. Seriously, I was about to call 911. Where's he been for the last couple of months? Seriously, where's he been? Is he in hibernation? Come on. You're supposed to speak when Derrick Rose was missing. No one heard from you. Only person that was able to get a hold of Derrick Rose wasn't even his employer. It was his teammate, Joakim Noah, was able to get a hold of Derrick Rose. What does that say about you, Phil Jackson? Huh? The players already tuned you out. Since the beginning of the season, they've tuned you out. Once you started mentioning triangle, they tuned you out. You got to eliminate the triangle. You got to stop with the nonsense. LA, D, you guys are correct. The buck stops with Phil Jackson. It starts and stops with him. He's got to hold himself accountable. He's done a horrible job. 3 years in, you want to admit that you're rebuilding. You should have rebuilt from the day one you signed that contract with Mr. Dolan. You should have said it from day one. Once you had the press conference, you introduced Derrick Fisher as the coach. You should have stated right there that we're rebuilding. We're going with a new coach. We're building a new team. Porzingis is the guy. Melo, fall back, or Melo, let's have a conversation where we can move you to a contender. That should have been done 3 years ago, not now. At the end of the day, Melo holds all the cards. He has the leverage right now. He dictates his own future. He can play his 2 years left on his contract after July 1st and walk as a free agent, or he can come to Phil and ask for a trade if you like. But if you're Melo, why would you even demand for a trade? Just stay there, sit tight, and just deal with the nonsense. Let Phil continue to just throw jabs at you through his ghostwriter, Charlie Rosen. Let him continue to do that. All Melo got to do is smile. Don't respond. As Phil continues to blast you louder and louder, you don't say much. Stay quiet. That's all. Continue to be a professional, like Scottie Pippen has given you, has mentioned. Stay professional. In regards to Porzingis leaving, going back home to Latvia, LA, you hit it right on the head. He should have did the exit interview, but he should have cut it short. Instead of doing an hour exit interview, we should have did a 10-minute exit interview with the media, pack his bags, and leave. Don't come back to New York until September, which is the right thing. Get away from this negativity. Get away from this toxic environment that Phil Jackson has created. Work on your game. Make sure you consult a nutritionist and a personal trainer. Matter of fact, why not reach out to Hakeem Olajuwon? Develop some moves, Why not? He's got to put on 25 pounds of muscle if he's going to play center full time. We already know that Joakim Noah is going to miss at least the first 16 games of the season due to his suspension, plus the surgery. So, again, it's going to be a wash. In terms of just, this season ended badly, started well. There was high hopes for this team as a 7th seed. We all mentioned that. We hoped that the bench would step up and deliver, but they didn't really. But once again, this Knicks team has failed, and it all starts with Phil. The $60 million intern has failed us once again. Here's a guy who's been, who's been overrated as a head coach. Now, he's playing intern, making $60 million. Stealing money from Mr. Dolan once again. Shame on you, Phil. Definitely shame on you.
Hey, we all calling it like it is. Thank you, dear Flo. Appreciate that. But one thing I want to touch upon was one of the topics he brought up in that press conference. And he basically stated that one thing he said was regarding the Carmelo. And he stated that he will want a potential significant player in return for Carmelo during the trade, if he were to trade Carmelo. And to me, I'm like, you're killing Carmelo. Any worth you have, you're killing him right now. Nobody's going to trade anything significant when they know you want to get rid of him, and you're basically saying that he'd be better elsewhere. So this just show you how inept Phil Jackson is right now. He don't even know how to play poker in this game right now. You're supposed to trade people when they're high, not when they're low. And you're killing his overall grade day by day, week by week. You're diminishing any type of value he have right now. And now you give him the disgruntled player right now who don't want to be here. And if anything, if I'm, like you stated, Flo, if I'm Melo, I would just sit back and make them buy me out at this point. That's what I would try to do. I would show up, do like I'm supposed to, but I would make it to a point that if you think it's so much disgruntledness or so much beef with the head coach with Hornacek, and he's not saying where that's coming from, which just doesn't help the fact either. Because now you make it seem like it's certain players that's pulling the team away from the triangle, which I could care less about that. But undermining Hornacek and things of that nature, but you're not naming names. So at the same time, you're making it look like, is it Melo? Is that what his whispering Porzingis is, not to go these type of exit interview and things like that? You don't know. It's just like, well, why do that when Melo hasn't even come out there, even when you attack them repeatedly? And that's the one thing I give Melo credit for, as I always stated in the beginning of our podcast when we first started, was he didn't do like a lot of these other guys did, like the LeBrons, Durants, and all these other people in the left. He wanted to win the championship here. And the thing was, you said you're going to build around him. So that was your choice, and you still decided not to. So I understand, what do y'all think about Phil and maybe overall weakening Carmelo's overall value? What do y'all think about that, Danny D?
Yeah, like you said, it's horrible. And like you said before, LA, if I'm Melo, you're going to have to cut me and buy me out, player. I'm going to pull a Deron Williams. I'm going to sit, do what I got to do. You're going to have to buy me out so I can go elsewhere. I can to greener pastures. I'm going to go in here, do what I got to do. Like, oh, word, coming to the game? Yeah, I'll do that, coach. No problem, coach. Oh, you going to get a trade? No, coach. But you can buy me out, though. And then I see y'all suckers in the playoffs if y'all make it.
Exactly. Anything else you want to add to that, Flo?
Yeah, LA, you mentioned earlier. Again, what is the purpose of disrespecting Carmelo Anthony? And you want to move him, you're diminishing his trade value. If this guy is so bad, if I'm the other 29 other teams in the league, why would I even want to take a chance at trading for Melo if you're saying this guy is so bad, so big, bad, and evil? You're making this guy seem like he's a terrorist, and he's not. The guy is a basketball player, a future Hall of Famer. We know he's not known for his defense, but the style of basketball Carmelo Anthony plays is perfect for playoff basketball. And I know, LA, you're gonna bring this up, in our next segment in regards to Joe Johnson. Perfect playoff basketball. Going ISO Joe, ISO Melo is perfect. Because in the playoffs, you need scorers, guys that can create their own shots, guys that also can move the ball and also create for his teammates. So, once again, Phil, as usual, don't have a clue.
Lost. Just like the Knicks are right now. Lost. But thank you, fellas. Definitely appreciate that. And I just want to go into another follow-up segment regarding the Knicks Weekly Roundup. And basically, be asking, as a season wind down, basically, who should stay and who should go. So I'd like us briefly discuss which players, after watching them for a whole full season, do you think organizations should keep, and which players should they explore trading or releasing, while keeping in mind their overall contract. And I'm just going to start right up at the top. I guess we want to start with Carmelo Anthony. He basically signed for 2 more years after this. So, we talked about it throughout this whole first segment. I don't know much more you want to add with that. I guess we already pretty much touched upon it. We basically say you're going to release. Or, would you still try to trade him at this point? Or you just think the bridge has been, too much badly burned? I don't know. Right now, if it's me personally, I still would try to trade him because it's definitely not going to work at this point. From what I can see, I don't know what you're going to get because we stated, Phil's definitely hurt Melo's overall ability rating wise with other teams. So, but I would still look to trade him at this point. Not so much what Melo did, but it's just not working here. And as long as Phil's here, it's definitely not going to work. Anything else you want to add to the Danny D regarding Melo? Should he stay or should he go?
My heart is saying he should stay because he did nothing wrong. He should stay. But overall, for the benefit from him and his basketball career, he has to go. He got to go. He has to leave. Can't stay where you're not wanted.
Yeah, I just think with the way this team is set up and just Melo's getting older, and we always say that defense is not the greatest. And just the way this team is going, he's not going to fit into this team at this point, And this is my opinion. How about you, Flo? Stay or go, Carmelo Anthony?
I think Melo will continue to honor his contract. It's really up to Melo because he owns all the cards, like I mentioned earlier. He's got to, reach out to Phil and say, listen, I would like to be traded to a contender. I already gave you my list of teams. See if you can pull the trigger. But again, Cleveland didn't bite of love for Melo because it didn't make any sense for Cleveland to pull the trigger on that trade. They want to chip with Love. Why would they want to move a player that they want to chip with and trade him for a player that they don't know if they can win a chip with as a third option? I would love to see Melo stay here in New York and, honor his contract. But if the opportunity presents itself where Melo agrees to a trade, I'm hearing a lot of rumblings, Portland for the 2 first-rounders. I heard another rumor about Miami for a Whiteside, but the Knicks would have to give up their first-round draft pick, which doesn't make any sense to me, in my opinion. So,
but you personally, I'm asking, you should he stay or should he go?
Keep him.
Even with all this stuff going around?
Yeah, keep him. Because Phil is the one that's creating this Melo drama. It's not Melo creating it. Melo's been a professional about it. I'll keep Melo.
Okay. All right. For our next play up, Derrick Rose. Should he stay or should he go? I say he definitely should go. I had my share of my team for the whole season. He's not going to help the team win right now. This team is not going to win right now. And this team is at least 2 years, to me, at least 2 or 3 years away. So I don't want to invest that type of money into Rose right now. Especially with the injury he had again. I'm not taking that chance to give him any serious money. So I say, been nice knowing you. You can go. How about you, Danny D?
No disrespect, Mr. Rose. Never wanted you here in the first place. Peace, man.
Tell us how you really feel. How about you, Flo? Should he stay or should he go, Mr. Rose?
Rose left when he left to go home to Chicago already. He's been gone.
I mean, would you pursue him sign him as a potential free agent? Because it seems like Mr. Phil likes him. That's the only 2 people I know he like right now at that press conference was Rose and Baker. He loves some Ron Baker, boy. I mean, man, Baker might be his son-in-law, future son-in-law or something out here if you have a kid or something. I was like, dang, Baker this and Baker that. He runs the triangle. He plays so he don't have the talent to be up there as no starting dude. I don't hear about no Baker. I like Baker, but slow down on that, Phil. Slow down, all right? But I digress. Back to you, Flo. Regarding Rose, would you pursue him or you just let it go?
Rose was option B. He was never option A. In the first place, we all knew that Phil Jackson listened to the podcast from day one, LA, where you mentioned that you wanted Drew Holiday and you were willing to move Ram Lopez in a package to get Drew Holiday. So we all know that Rose was plan B. So why keep your plan B when you can go after your plan A when your plan A becomes a free agent at July 1st and you can get him in a 2-for-1 deal where you can re-sign his brother, Justin Holiday.
Okay. So that pretty much answers that. Thank you. For the next guy on the list, Mr. Start with Kaminsky. Do you think he should stay or should he go? To me, it depends on, I don't know. I start with you, Flo. What you think?
I don't know. I think he should honor his contract, but if there's a package on the table where you got to include him in a deal, I'll move him. Or if you can move for a second-round pick, I'll do it.
Okay, he doesn't make too much, like $3 million and change. And he's gotten better as the season went along. But like you said, if the right deal come along, I will not be hesitant to put him in there. But I think he could actually play well on the bench for him if he got a little year on his belt now. What you think about that, Danny D?
Yeah, I'm keeping him. We need a bench play. There's nothing wrong with that. He goes down there, and when he got minutes, he was productive. I'm keeping him.
Okay. And thank you. How about Mr. Start with Courtney Lee? He's got another $11 million. I know he signed, but would you try to say he should stay? You go work around him, or you think he should go? To me personally, I don't know how much more you're gonna get for him. If you can make a deal, I would do it. I don't think he's a starter for this type of team. Like I always said, he's a starter for a team that's like a Cleveland or a Golden State that's already stacked, and you could take a chance with him there. Knicks are not that type of team, but it's spent a lot of money for that dude that's not even a starter. To me, skill-wise, for like $11 million, that's a lot of money. So I would definitely see what else is out there. But, he hasn't been horrible for the Knicks. He gave me pretty much what I thought he was going to give him, slightly a little less, but I didn't expect that much out of him anyway. This is a guy, Eric Gordon, like y'all stated in the beginning of the podcast. I know Flo is a big proponent of him, so that's the way I feel about that when regarding Courtney Lee. How about you, Flo? I got a pretty good idea what you think, though.
LA, once again, another plan B option. Phil failed to get the job done and going after Eric Gordon. Once again, a negative by Phil Jackson. Horrible job, once again, as usual. Again, performing like a $60 million intern. No surprise whatsoever. So, in regards to Courtney Lee, he's got to go. He's not a starting shooting guard in this league. He never was, never will be. So also, Phil, you had a deal on the table for 2 second-round draft picks for Courtney Lee from the Clippers. Why didn't you pick up your phone? Were you hibernating? Where were you? Seriously, where were you?
That's the Jeopardy music playing in the background there, people. I don't know. How about you, Danny D? What you think about Courtney Lee?
Yeah, he gotta go. Just because of the salary base, man. Gotta go. But I don't know if any team gonna pick him up though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. You have to take somebody else's headache. That's what's going to end up being. Somebody who else making a lot of money who hasn't really done anything in this last year or so. It's going to be that same type of issue. But moving on, Kristaps Porzingis definitely should stay. One of the few bright spots for Knicks fans that I've seen. Definitely has a huge upside. He's not making a lot of money still in that rookie contract. So, take advantage of, try to smooth it over during this off season and definitely build around Porzingis. So, I definitely think he should stay. How about you, Danny D?
Makes you stand.
Okay. How about you, Flo?
Yeah, I believe Porzingis will honor his contract. After that, he'll probably walk as a free agent. I don't see him staying in New York as long as Phil is there.
I think he'll stay. Money has a way of making things smooth out a lot quicker than you think. I think as long as they start winning, and remember, the Knicks still going to have the ability to pay him more than anybody else. That definitely matters. So, we'll see.
LA.
Go ahead, Philip.
LA, you brought an interesting point. You said as long as they still winning. The Knicks haven't won anything with Phil Jackson. 3 straight 50-plus losses. So what are you talking about? They haven't won anything with Phil.
As in pushing towards a winning season. I should say that. I should reiterate that. I think as long as he sees some type of progress, I think he'll stay. I think he actually likes New York, and he seems to like the limelight from what I've seen. He's been in a lot of commercials and things of that nature. So I think he'll stay as long as they're progressing. I really do. But moving on to the next guy on the list, Kyle O'Quinn. I definitely like Kyle O'Quinn. I definitely would like for him to stay. I know he's still in the contract for about $4 million for the next year or so. And I think he's a guy that has the ability to start if he, gets a little more consistent. That's his only main issue to me. But I definitely like to build around. He's one of the few guys that actually plays, strong and tough. Definitely a type of player that the Knicks need on their roster. So, to me, definitely keep him right now. How about you, Flo?
Most likely, he's going to probably start next year. I'm keeping him. He'll start next year as a starting center. Remember, Mr. Noah is going to be out for 16 games to serve a suspension. So, all the way, I'm all in for Kyle O'Quinn. I would love to keep him. I'm not moving him. He's part of he's part of that front line with the unicorn, Porzingis.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Danny D?
Definitely staying, because when Noah was on the bench, Kyle O'Quinn was getting double-doubles. Got to stay.
Very true, very true. All right, next up is Marshall Plumlee. To me, he's a guy, it's hard to really have beef with him. He really didn't get a real shot this year to me. He finally started playing late in the season. Actually put up pretty good numbers, some double-double, I believe. So I still like to see what more he can do. But he doesn't make a lot of money as well as under $1 million before this year. So I take a chance on him as going to $1 million in 2018 and 19. If he's willing to stay, come off the bench, hopefully see a little more out of him. I'll take the chance and keep him for the bench role. Hopefully he's a good practice player. Haven't heard anything negative about him, so I would keep him. How about you, Danny?
I'm keeping him, man. You don't get rid of Sutton. You keep him. He's a big body. You need big bodies.
Okay, how about you, Flo? Thank you, D.
Definitely, I'll keep him. Honestly, I would have sent him to the D League to start the season, but with Noah being out for the first 16 games of the season due to suspension, you got to leave him on the roster. You got to leave him on the Knicks roster, and let him be the backup behind Porzingis and O'Quinn.
Okay, got a few more dear listeners. Next up is Maurice Endor. He actually played a little well in the seasons also. I have no real beef with him. You see what he can do maybe the next season. He can build upon this. If you keep him for cheap, I can. If he wants significant playing time or money, then I guess he would have to move him. How about you, Flo? What you think?
My opinion, he's a candidate for the D League. I still don't know if this guy can ball or not. I've only seen little flashes. For some reason, Coach Hornacek refused to play this guy. I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure out Hornacek, the rotations. I really don't know what's his rotation. I've been figuring it out all season, and it's been puzzling to me. Talk about confusion with, Porzingis mentioned confusion. Jeff Hornacek's, rotation has been confusion from day one.
That's true. Yeah, it's been up and down with that. All right. Thank you, Flo. How about you, Danny D? What you thought about Endor?
Yeah, I have no problem with him. We can keep him.
Okay. All right. Next up is Chison Randall. Point guard we talked a lot about in the beginning when we first started our podcast. He got a little more play time once they re-signed him. Put up a few numbers, but then kind of faded a little bit. I would keep him, still see what he can do. Still not sure. He doesn't cost that much. But, also another guy you really didn't get a good chance. I wish we'd have got more look at him throughout this season. You got a better understanding. But it is what it is at this point. What you think about it, Danny D?
Yeah, he didn't get enough playing time. His product numbers and his numbers went down. After he got signed, I would keep him to actually see what he can do.
Very true. How about you, Flo? What you think, Mr. Randall?
Most likely he'll be on the roster, once Rose walks. So I'm going to keep him. I would have rather sent him to the D League for a full season, but that was probably the issue, Phil had. The guy was dominating in the D League, and he was waiting to get called up. Knicks never called him. And, he was able to try out for other teams. He played with Philly. Got little minutes, but, here's a guy I'm still not sure, if this guy is part of the Knicks' future or not. He's, to me, he's still a mystery to me. So definitely, he'll be on the bench. Definitely.
Okay, thank you. And next up would be Phil's favorite guy, Mr. Ron Baker. I know he's going to be here already from that press conference. So, like I said, I had no beef with Baker. I just think, slow your roll a little bit with Phil. He's okay. I see the athleticism is not where you really wanted to be after what seen for the whole season. But, he's a small player. He plays hard. I'd take a chance with him. Not give him a lot of money, though, to come back. What you think about Danny D?
You didn't see that hard-nosed defense Ron Baker has out there, man? Come on, man. He's staying. He ain't going nowhere.
What you think about it, Flo? Thank you, D.
He should be in the D League.
Okay. But do you think he should be back with the Knicks?
Oh yeah, he'll be back with the Knicks. But to me, he deserves to be. He deserves to be in the D League with the Knicks. Shouldn't be on the Knicks roster. Should be in the D League with the Knicks.
Okay, I respect that. I hear you. Next up would be Mr. Justin Holiday. I thought he did real well this year. He did exactly what I wanted him to do. Came off the bench, 3-and-D guy. He showed a lot of energy, a lot of hops and stuff at times. So to me, I thought he played hard. He was actually a little inconsistent sometimes, but that's what happens with younger players. But definitely a player that you can build around. So I definitely like to get him back. I don't know if he will. He might get a little bump in his salary, but we'll see. I definitely pursue him though. What do you think about that, Flo?
Oh, definitely. I'm bringing him back, man. Phil, if you're listening, man, don't be a punk, man. You better go after us, re-sign this guy. Definitely. He's a major contributor to this team. You got to resign him. That's your number one priority, not Derrick Rose. Resigning Justin Holiday is your number one priority. Get it done. No excuses.
Okay, thank you, Flo. How about you, Danny D?
Yeah, we definitely got to sign if another team don't sign him first.
I agree with that. And the next guy on the list is Mr. Willie Hernan Gomez. Might be a little thoughts behind that one. I thought he did very well though for this season. Definitely a good pickup by Phil. Gotta give him credit for that one. I just don't know if he's going to start because, like I stated before, I still feel like Porzingis should be a center and Willie should come off the bench or playing center right now. So that's where the log jam comes up to me. I just don't think he got the lateral speed to stay with the guys at power forward right now. But he intrigues me. He's definitely a young, good player, great offensive wise. A lot of work defensive wise, but like I said, if I could get a good deal and I had to move him and it was worth it, I would do it. I would take the chance, but I'm just not going to give him away. So right now, hold on to him like we stated, but if the right deal come, then I would have to let him go. What you think about Danny D?
Yeah, we holding on. Like I said, a young center, got to keep him.
Okay. How about you, Flo?
Keep him, but trade him.
Got you. I think we went through this a lot in our last podcast. We talked about Mr. Hernan Gomez. Make sure y'all check that out, listeners. And also next on the list would be Mr. my favorite guy, Lance Thomas. I've been on him a lot throughout the season. And he played a lot better once he got more healthy, healthier, I should say. But to me, it is what he is. He's not a star. I really don't want him starting for my team. I feel like, once again, he's one of them players like Courtney Lee. You got a really good team and put him around them. But he plays well for defensive-wise, one of the few guys that play individual good defense on his team. And he also one of the guys that's actually kind of hard-nosed when he's healthy. But to me, if he had to let him go, I wouldn't, lose no sleep over it at the end of the day. I still want to upgrade at that position if I can. If not, then you just have to deal with it. But I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled if I get an upgrade at that position. So that's the way I feel about him. How about you, Danny D?
Yeah, he's upgrading. Plus, he's got that contract too, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
I hear you. How about you, Flo?
I love to package him with Hernan Gomez.
Yeah, that would not be bad at all. I could definitely see something like that. Heck, they might put Courtney Lee in there too, make a big time deal. See what can happen.
Why not?
Why
not? Phil needs to be working the phones. Phil, pick up your phone, man. Pick up your phone. Work the phones. Call all these other GMs. First, apologize to Pat Riley too for bashing him, and also you should apologize to Coach Popovich. Maybe they'll do you a favor and take one of our players with a bad contract. Maybe.
Oh, thank you, Flo. And the last one on the list I got is your main man, Sasha Vujacic. Should he stay or should he go? Right now, he's a free agent. It's been nice knowing you, Sasha. I'm not pursuing you back. I know you might be a good veteran presence, but I'd rather get a veteran presence that actually brings some more skill-wise to the team, So, nice knowing you, but I'm good. How about you, Flo?
LA, like I mentioned before in the article that I wrote by Felicia, Vujacic was a bad signing. They should have gone after Pau Gasol. That's the guy that was a perfect mentor to the Unicorn Porzingis and to Hernan Gomez. Phil once again dropped the ball as usual. Always Phil, always continue to drop the ball, man. Can never do nothing right. Come on, Phil. Come on. So, Vujacic, nice knowing you, but gotta leave, man. Matter of fact, I'll pick you up from your home and drop you off at the airport if you like, man. Give me a shout. Come on, give me a call, man. I'll definitely do that. Free of charge.
Thank you, Flo. How about you, Danny D? What do you think about Mr. Vujacic?
Yeah, you gotta go. Sash, gotta go.
All right. That was it for our free agency and signings and who should stay or who should go segment. And going into that, any final thoughts regarding the weekly Knicks Roundup? Anything else y'all want to add before we go to the next segment? Okay. And that would lead us.
Hold on, you forgot to throw your.
Go ahead,
You forgot about your boy Noah, man.
Oh yeah, you're right. Jakeem Noah.
Forget about that. Hey, can't forget to mention
how did that happen?
Hey,
Talk about karma, man.
Man, who's talking about?
He forgot about us.
Man, don't forget about your man.
Oh man,
don't forget about Noah.
I try to get out of there without it. Thank you, there. Appreciate it. Mr. Noah.
I know you're gonna say keep him, but damn, man.
Oh no. Yeah, Noah. Like I said, same thing with Sasha. Been nice knowing you. This deal is not working out right now. We may be forced to keep you because right now I doubt anybody gonna trade anything for you with that contract. But to me personally, like I said, if you can package him up into something else, he started playing well before the All-Star break, and you got to pay maybe half of it, then so do it. I mean, so be it, because it's not working out at all. How about you, Danny D? Thank you for reminding me for that as well.
Hey, remind me, that dude got to go, but nobody's going to pick up that darn contract, man.
You said it, man. Put them fillers out there, though. Put them out there. How about you, Flo? What you think, Mr. Noah?
Noah has to go, and I would encourage the Portland Trail Blazers to reach out to the Knicks, see if you want to move Evan Turner for Noah. The money works. Phil, pick up the phone. Do the deal. Portland does need a backup center, because I believe Mr. Plumlee is a free agent, matter of fact. I believe he's a restricted free agent. I forgot his first name, but he used to play with the Nets. I believe that's Miles Plumlee.
Yes, sir.
Is it Miles or Mason? I believe it's Mason. Maybe I'm wrong. I believe it's Mason Plumlee. Let me correct that. Mason Plumlee.
Yeah, you're right. I'll think about Miles.
Mason
center.
Yeah, I think he might get some money in the open market. So maybe Portland might need a backup center, especially with their starting center out with a broken fibula. So definitely, Phil, pick up the phone, make the deal, and convince Portland to do this 1-for-1 trade. Turner for Noah, get the deal done. Phil.
Okay. Yeah, that was it, fellas, for the weekly Knicks Roundup. Thank you very much. I always appreciate it. And that goes into our next segment. And this segment is known as Hot Topics. And for the hot topic today, as we take a closer look at the current NBA playoff brackets, we just want to go decide which team do we think will advance and how many games will it take for those teams to move on to the next round. And first up would be guarding the Clippers and the Jazz. Right now, the Jazz are leading this series 1-0. And I'll start with you, Danny D. Who you think will end up winning this series? And how many games and why?
I'm going with the Utah Jazz. And I said that before the game even went. I'm going Utah Jazz. I think they might push it to, it's going to be 4-3 Utah Jazz. And I think they just got the determination and the Clippers are going to fall apart. I'm going with Utah Jazz. And hopefully Gobert can stay healthy enough to get busy on these boys. I'm going with the Jazz.
Okay, how many games?
In 4. They're going to win in 4.
Whoa.
4 games.
Bust out the broom.
Whoa, I love that.
That's a strong prediction right there, player.
Love it.
All right. How about you, Flo? What you think about in that first round series, Clippers and Jazz?
Oh, man. That's a pick'em series. Ooh. I don't see Austin Rivers playing at all right now. I know he's recuperating from a hamstring issue. You know what? I'll go Utah in 7.
Okay. I hear that. I read they said Rivers may be coming back, but they think maybe by game 3 or 4. So we'll see. And I picked the Jazz. I mean, not the Jazz. I picked the Clippers as one of my sleeper teams. So I got to go with them in the first round. But I'm picking them in 7. I think they're going to win in 7. So I think they'll move on from there. I think the experience is going to help them out. And also just think they got more to lose with this series. The Jazz playing with house money. Nobody really expect them to do much. So anything they do would be good significance for them. But the Clippers, this is it. It's boom or bust. So if they don't make it this year, this team is going to definitely blow up. You may see Doc going. You may see Redick. He may be going. He should be going. If you watch that first game, it was horrible, man. Horrible. Can't hold nobody. Then also was getting the ball stripped from him. I was begging for Crawford to come out there. But that's beyond that. But also, I just think they got more to lose. And like you said, if Gobert is still hurt for the rest of this series, I think, my main man is going to eat him up down there. So I'm still picking the Jazz to get over the hump. I mean, the Clippers get over that hump. So in 7. And that goes to the next round we have, next game, I should say, was the Celtics and the Bulls. Right now, the Bulls won today's game, so they're up 1-0. And starting with you, Flo, this time, who you think going to win this series between the Celtics and the Bulls?
Ooh. Celtics in 7.
Okay, any particular reason?
I think overall they're a better defensive team. Even though we all know that Jimmy Butler is the best player on the floor out of both teams. So I'm going to go with Celtics in 7. Their defense.
Okay, thank you, Flo. How about you, Danny D? Who you got in the Celtics and Bulls?
I got the Celtics in 6.
Okay, any particular reason?
The Celtics has got more depth in Chicago.
No, I understand that. I definitely understand that. Right now, I'm picking them as well. Same number also. Great minds think alike, I guess. I got the Celtics in 6 as well. I think they're the better overall team. I like their coaching, and, Brad Stevens, I think, is going to bring the best out of them. But I think the one thing you have to worry about is how their point guard, Isaiah Thomas, is going to come back, with the untimely and, very sad to hear about the death of his sister in an automobile accident. Not sure how it's going to affect them and the team as a whole, So, definitely, best prayers and thank God to their family as well. So right on the eve of the playoffs, I think that's definitely going to have an effect on this team. But, they may come together because of it, or it may really, pull them apart. But, time will tell with that. Okay, that was for that game. And also we have next up is the Cavaliers versus the Pacers, which the Cavaliers are already up by 1 game. And who do you have for that game as well? Right now, starting with you, Flo, I should say.
I have the Cavs in 5 based on 2 things. They're going to dominate in fast break points and also in the rebound. They're the better rebounding team, and they're the quicker team than the Pacers. I'll give the benefit of the doubt of the Pacers winning a game at home. They needed to win yesterday's game 1. Unfortunately, it's still a mystery. Paul George should be taking a game-winning shot, but that's another story and another topic for another day. But Cavs in 5.
Okay. Oh, also the name of Isaiah Thomas' sister was China Thomas. So just she's only 22, I believe, too. But okay, Flo, thank you, appreciate that. How about you, Danny D? Who you got in that series?
I got the Cavs in 6. It could be possible 7. And it's going to be a close one. It's not going to be an easy fight because Indiana's coming to play. But the Cavs is going to edge it out with the experience and just want it more.
Yeah, I agree, too. I got them in 5. I think, Cavs is a better team. And, I thought that first game was a big game to lose also because you had it right there. And I didn't really like what Paul George said at the end of the game, basically saying, no, the ball got to be in my hand. I understand that. It's a good thing to feel that way. But you ain't got to throw your teammate on the bus, in front of everybody. Do that in the locker room, man. So, to me, those things show me the pressure's getting to you a little bit, and it's early. But, time will tell. But I still think Cleveland, as long as they're healthy, is definitely the better team. They should win 5, 6 at the most. All right, fellas. The next one up will be the Raptors versus the Bucks. Bucks pulled a big win in that game. They're up 1-0. And starting with you this time, Danny D, who you got for that game?
Right now, that series, I got Milwaukee in 5.
Oh, in 5. Wow. Okay. Any particular reason?
I don't know. Like I said, guys, before in the private podcast, Milwaukee can play their matchup very well, but I'm really not too fond of Kyle Lowry. If he's not playing well, the team is not going to go far without Kyle Lowry stepping up and playing well.
No, that's true. He's a barometer for that team, just like Chris Paul's with the Clippers to me.
Yeah.
He's definitely, and DeAndre Jordan, they're definitely a barometer. And he played awful that game. He's not that good in the playoffs, though.
That's the only reason I'm saying that. I've seen remember the players when he walked away, he subbed himself out and walked in the back room, and he had to stay away for like a good 20 minutes to come back on the court. He's just the play. I don't know. Is it the pressure? I don't know. When it comes to players, he just doesn't perform. He doesn't perform.
Very true. Very true. How about you, Flo? What you think about that series? Thank you, D.
Oh boy, I'm gonna go with Milwaukee in 6. The problem I have is that with Toronto, as much as I know in the previous podcast, I picked Toronto as a sleeper team. I didn't realize that Milwaukee's length is hurting Toronto right now. That's 1. 2, Valanciunas needs to demand the ball and get the ball more. He's got a rookie guard on Thorn Baker. And 3, Lowry's got to dominate the point guard matchup. But when I realized Lowry and DeRozan are terrible playoff performers, these guys, they don't shoot well in the playoffs. Also, DeRozan doesn't even shoot the 3. So that's even worse since he doesn't shoot the 3 because it doesn't even open up the floor for Toronto in terms of creating space. So they have a big problem right there. So I got Milwaukee in 6. Matter of fact, Milwaukee can probably take this in 5 if Toronto if they keep missing shots. Fast break opportunities for Milwaukee is going to favor them. So it could be Milwaukee 5. I'm going Milwaukee in 6.
Okay. Well, I picked the Bucks in the previous podcast of my sleeper team. I thought it was going to be Giannis coming out party. Mr. Antetokounmpo. I always mess up his name. Sorry about that. But I really think they, like you said, the length is getting to them, the athleticism. All those things are really getting to them right now. And like you stated before, Danny D, Lowry doesn't play well in the playoffs. And really, Toronto should win this series if you look at their whole team as a whole. But right now, they're really struggling up front. I thought Ibaka, Valanciunas would do really well up top. They're struggling more than I thought. But
not to cut you off, too. Who stepped up? This dude, Greg Monroe.
I know, right? He's been playing well for the whole season, too, though.
Yeah, I was like, what the? He just came. He's like, man, it's time to shine. I was like, what the? He's had a double-double.
That's true. But, I'm going with the Bucks. I said my sleeper pick. I said they're going to win it in 7, though. Maybe 6, just because I think they're youth and they really haven't been there. So they might not do well with prosperity if they start, win ahead. They might struggle a little bit to close them out. But I think at the end of the day, Giannis is going to get them over the top. So at least I'm saying 7, but hopefully in 6, the way I look at it right now. And that'd be a big loss for Toronto because they made a lot of big moves to get to this point right now. But thank you there. For the next game we have up, Warriors versus the Blazers. And right now the Warriors are up 1-0. And basically see what y'all think about that game overall. Starting with you, Flo, this time. Who you got in the Warriors and the Blazers?
Dubs in 5.
Any particular reasons? Any thoughts on your mind regarding that?
Honestly, we already know that McCullough and Lillard, Dame Dollar, they're gonna score their points. The problem is who's their third option. That's where the issue is. I don't know who's their third option on that team right now.
They miss York right now. Not to interrupt you, they miss him though.
Yeah, that's where the problem is. That's really where the problem is for them. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Them winning one home game, most likely game 3. Other than that, man, I got the Dubs at 5, man.
Yeah, I hear you. How about you, Danny D? Thank you, Flo. What you think about that series?
Same thing. I got the Golden State. I got Golden State in 5. Portland got the firepower to match up with these guys.
Yeah. I saw that game. I don't know if y'all saw it earlier. Warriors, I really don't like that team, man. I don't. They're obnoxious, man. Really, Danny, Green is flexing all day like you Hulk Hogan. It's just like a video game watching them. It's too many weapons right now when they're healthy. It's like you stop one guy. I forgot Durant was on the team at one point. I was like, okay, you got him. I said, oh, dang, there you got Durant on the other side. This just ain't fair, man. That's why I really don't like them doing them deals.
But Portland held up. Portland held up. They did good. They held up well, but they just couldn't. They didn't have enough firepower to outlast these guys. They did well for 3 quarters, 4 quarters, but they couldn't win it, man. Couldn't win it.
Yeah, and they're too small in the backcourt too. One thing with this team, you got to be physical with the Warriors, and you got to be strong up front. And they don't have neither right now. Both they guards are small, and they're not that physical. They try to be physical with Curry early in the game, if you noticed it. It worked a little bit, but then he got comfortable, and they started passing the ball around. And then they inside played real well. I mean, what's the name? Played horrible, and they finally put him out. I forgot what's their center on Golden State?
Pachula plays up.
Oh,
McGee came in, started getting busy.
That was the difference of this game right there. McGee turned that whole game around in the third quarter. He was blocking shot. I wish Shaq would say something about that. Put that on Shaq and the Fool. But, I thought McGee did real well, like you stated in that.
He did.
Turned the game around, and Green took over from there. But overall, I think they're going to sweep them. I don't see them doing nothing with that. Usually, I'll pick one win for a team like that. If I think you got a superstar player, I always say that one player should get you a win. You would think Lillard, or McCullough would be able to get you one win. But looking at that team, I think they're going to get swept. I really do. But for the next series we have, be the Wizards versus the Hawks. And starting with you, Danny D. Right now, the Wizards are up 1-0 in this series. So who do you got in that series?
I got the Wizards in 5 for the backcourt of John Wall and Bill getting busy on them.
Okay. Got you there. Thank you, Danny D. How about you, Flo? Who you got in that series?
If Atlanta has a chance of winning this series, Dwight Howard has to dominate the way he did when he went to the NBA Finals with Orlando, with Turk Lue, and with Pat Ewing as one of the assistant coaches. That's the only way Atlanta has a fighting chance. Other than that, Wizards in 5, their backcourt it's way better than Atlanta's backcourt. Atlanta might have to consider maybe making a change. Maybe they start Bazemore at the 2. Maybe have Hardaway Jr. off the bench. Maybe. But other than that, too much Wizards. I think Paul Millsap is going to do whatever he can and score as much points as possible and carry this Atlanta team on his back. But Wizards in 5.
Okay, we all in the same thing pretty much. But I got the Wizards in 6. I'm giving Atlanta one extra game just because they're veteran and their coaching staff. I think they'll squeeze one more game out of them. And Wizards really hasn't done this during this playoff in recent times. So to me, I feel like you learn while you're doing it. So I got the Wizards in 6 right now. And for the next series, I have the Rockets versus the Thunder. Who you have in that series, Flo? Right now, the Rockets are 0-0 right now.
You said Rockets and Thunder, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have the Rockets in 6. Harden is going to be way too much. Definitely for this Thunder team. Only way for the Thunder to have a chance. The other players, the 2 other stars OKC has, I'm not talking about Westbrook, the 2 other stars, your boy Oladipo and also Steven Adams, they're going to have to, at least average at least 20 plus points in this series for them to even have a chance to win the series. So I'm going to go around 6, maybe 5, but 6.
Okay. Thank you, Flo. How about you, Danny D?
Yeah, I got the Rockets in 5. Just Eric Gordon, Ryan Anderson, James Harden. Too much.
Yeah, it's a lot of weapons there. I got them in 6 too. Thank you, D. I got the Rockets in 6 as well. I just think it's going to be too much for them. Too many threes raining all over the place. But they better win in 6 because I don't want to play Westbrook in 7. I really don't. So if they're going to win it, they better win it before 6. Because if they go 7 game, then I'm switching. I'm getting the Thunder. I think he'll find some way to win that with last game, And for the last series we have in the first round, it'll be San Antonio Spurs versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Right now, the Spurs are up 1-0. And who you have for that, Flo, in that series? Spurs versus Grizzlies.
LA. I'm putting it out there. Sweep San Antonio. Reason why? The law firm of Aldridge and Leonard. That's why. Sweep. Pull out the brooms. Sweep. You heard it first from me. Sweep.
Okay. Thank you, Flo. How about you, Dan D? Who you got in that series?
I got the Spurs winning in 5.
Okay. Any particular reasons?
Just a better team.
Got you. I heard a lot of people talking about they was giving Memphis a little more, they believed them a little more than I did for whatever reason. I agree with you, Flo. I had the same thing. I had Spurs in 4. I don't think Memphis is that good a team. I think one of the old school teams, and I don't think they're that good athletic wise. So I don't see how they're going to stand up to him. I think Popovich is a better coach as well. And the Spurs is a machine right now. As long as they're healthy, they're going to keep on moving. They're going to keep on trucking. They got T2 and, Kawhi doing this thing. So I see him in 4. Bust out the brooms. But we'll see. And that's it for our first round series. Anything else you want to add to that, fellas?
With the Clippers, they definitely need Austin Rivers. I know he's out with a hamstring injury. Definitely the Clippers need Austin Rivers to even have a chance. My understanding he's going to be out for Game 2. Possibility he'll be back for Game 3. They're not too sure yet. Doc's job is on the line. So if the Clippers lose the series, definitely I believe Doc Rivers should be fired.
I don't know if he should be fired, but I think his job is definitely on the line. I think this whole team is, like we stated before, it's going to be win or blow it up right now, I think Doc's job as GM should be on the line either way. I just don't think he's a great GM. I think he just keep him for coaching. Not just, the team plays hard for the most part, but I just don't think it's a well set up team. You still bringing a small J.J. Redick. You still don't have a small forward. It's the same thing we've been saying for the last 2-3 years with this team. So to me, him not replacing those parts, it says a lot about him as a GM. He just couldn't get that part done. I know Rivers is supposed to play well for them in that position as 2 guard, and you're kind of missing him more small forward wise. But that's not enough to me. I would have won a better, higher value in both of those spots. I would have tried to get that even through the draft or free agency. And they haven't really filled that position. So, but like you said, a lot is on the line with this team. He may be fired if they don't get past the first round. But I think Chris Paul is definitely going. I don't even know if he's definitely going because he may want the money to stay there. So, I don't know. We'll see, though. Time will tell. Go ahead, Flo.
There was a rumor circulating that there's a wink-wink deal with Doc and Chris Paul, 5 years, $200 million. That's the deal. That's people are that's the rumor that's been circulating. It's a wink-wink deal. 5 years, $200 million for Chris Paul to re-sign with the Clippers.
Yeah, that's what that's what I said. It may not be definitely that it's going to blow up if they do lose. That's why I said the money may keep them there. At the end of the day, but I think it's going to be hard to pay them that if they don't win, though.
And also, LA, Blake Griffin's got to score more than 2 points in the fourth quarter. They even have a shot to win this series. You got Joe Johnson guarding you. Joe Johnson's not a power forward. I know he's got the size, and let me correct it. He has the height, to match up with Blake Griffin. He's 6'8", and I believe Griffin is 6'9". He's got the height, but again, Joe Johnson is not known as a great defender. He's at best average. And he played some good defense yesterday. Kudos to Joe Johnson. I think, the question for Utah also, it seems like the Clippers don't even have Clippers have problems guarding Favors and Johnson, especially with Favors replacing Gobert only playing a minute. And also for the Clippers, if they really have a shot at winning this series, they might have to think about going small ball. They couldn't really attack the basket well with Favors patrolling the paint. And also, your boy, DeAndre, has got to score more than 10 points. Gobert's out. Got to score more than 10 points. That's not enough. That's not cutting it. Favors gave you 15 off the bench. Got to score more than 10 points. If he's supposed to be the favorite in the matchup against Favors, he's got to score more than 10 points. He's got to have 20. No excuses.
Well, I agree with that. Blake is listed at 6'10", but overall, this team, Blake just got to play more physical. The one thing I don't like about him, he likes to shoot that little 15-footer a little too much. And it's like in this playoff game, you got to go into the paint more. And DeAndre is going to do that. He'll be fine as a season as the playoffs go along, as long as he's healthy. He's always going to spin to the basket and make those dunks and lobs. That's his game. That's what he's known for. I think he'll be fine. I just think this is the first game. But Blake definitely got to be more physical, and you need more out of Redick. He got to bring something to the table. And, I'm betting on the veteran leadership of this team. This team been here enough. They should know how to get over the hump with this series. It's not an overpowering offensive juggernaut they're facing. They're not facing a team that's like the Spurs. That's a machine. So they should have no reason not to win this series. It may be close, but they should have enough in the tank to win this series, especially all the stuff they've been through. But go ahead, Flo. Got anything else to add?
Yeah, Ellie, I want to add and also reiterate the keys for the Clippers to win the series. They got to play small ball. I think that's very important. Utah, they play a half-court set. They want to slow it down, grind it out. They're playing playoff basketball. So Clippers going to have to run more. Lob City. Blake's got to score more than 2 points in the fourth quarter. Also, Jamal Crawford's a horrible playoff performer. They definitely need Austin Rivers in this series. They need Austin Rivers. If he's healthy, he's got to look for his shot. He's got to attack the basket. He's got to get to the free throw line. You know, it's going to be a tough series it's really going to be a tough series for the Clippers. It's not going to be a walk in the park for them. This is not going to, they're not going to win this game in 5. They're not going to win the series in 5.
Oh, no, they're not going to do that. It's a 4 and 5 seed. It's not going to be, it's not like a first and an 8th seed. It's nothing like that.
If the Clippers going to win the series, they're going to have to win the series in 6. Like I mentioned before, LA, I'm going to stick with Utah. I'm picking, that's my upset. You know, I'll go with the upset special, Utah in 7.
Okay, I still picking the Clippers. So we'll see.
I think Coach Snyder is going to outcoach Doc Rivers. I really believe that. You guys are underestimating Quinn Snyder of the Utah Jazz. Don't sleep on him.
No, Danny picked with you. You know, both of y'all picking the Jazz. So I like the Jazz. I just don't think they're going enough to get them over the hump this year. Maybe next year. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Anything else you add there, Danny D?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. All right, fellas. That brings us to the closing of our show today. Any closing remarks you have there, Danny D?
Want to thank you guys for having me on the show. And all the fans, keep on subscribing, keep on showing love, man. Appreciate it.
As always, thank you, D. How about you, Flo? Any closing remarks you have for today?
LA, I want to thank all the listeners. Please continue to tell a friend and subscribe to this podcast. Definitely, this is a great show, Knicksfandom. This is definitely for all the NBA fans out there all over the world and across the globe, and also for Knicks fans. Also, I want to thank you guys for allowing me part of this great podcast. I definitely appreciate it, for allowing me to come on and be a co-host. Thank you so much. Listeners, please continue to subscribe and tell a friend. This is a great show. Knicksfandom all the way.
Thank you, Flo. We appreciate you as well. And this concludes another stellar episode of Knicksfandom. Hope our listeners enjoyed it. As always, it's a big thank you to my co-hosts, Flo and Danny D. Couldn't do it without both of you. And a big shout out to our dedicated and loyal listeners as well. Please continue to subscribe. Write a positive review on iTunes when you get a chance. Like and share the show. It'll be a big help. Have a great week and take care. See ya.